What's up, everybody? This is another Queens review. This is season 1, episode 5, Anything for Clout. Getting right into it, the episode begins with Muffin doing her video for I'm That Chick. It's got a Marie Antoinette theme. Her entourage is in it. She's also checking out a rehab simultaneously. You see Jill living with Bree, and she's helping her with the kids. You see Eric, Naomi, and JoJo spending family time together. Jill also has his newfound fame, after her recent interview and working with I guess you want to call her a publicist or manager, Alicia. Muffin has a label meeting, and they also ask her, from the I'm That Chick video, are you still that chick? And Eric is letting her have more control. He says, learning from 20 years ago, I want my artists to have more control over their careers. Muffin now wants to separate Lauren from Muffin, and Naomi lets her know, listen, that's not an easy thing to do. She wants to live as a regular, and as she puts it, a normal poor person. She doesn't want preferential treatment. But as we go to the grocery store, we see that she's maybe not all the way ready to deal with being a real person outside of her identity that's Muffin. She's still gonna fight a little bit to be one or the other, and to figure out who Lauren really is outside of Muffin. So she goes to the store, wants to do her laundry, wants to buy ham. Turns out she wants to buy 4 hams and is like, I want to buy 4 pounds of it. The dude at the deli is like, I think that's probably a lot for you if it's just you. And, she doesn't know how to really be an adult and live on her own. The side chick that Jill cheated with, who did the interview for her with the magazine, is now basically her manager as, a solo artist outside of the group. All her different public appearances, photo shoots, everything that Jill is doing as Jill the Thrill outside of Queens, formerly the Nasty Bees, is being ran by Alicia. And she's very divisive. Already I'm going to tell you that she's very divisive. And what you're seeing with this situation is what a lot of girl groups from the 90s to the 2000s to even now is kind of what tears girl groups apart. When one becomes a little bit more famous, they sometimes get a separate team and a separate manager. It becomes all about them. And before you know it, there is no more group, or somebody's been replaced because this person is going solo. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. And we're seeing this play out on Queens. The new single is blowing up, the one that they all co-wrote together and separately. And it ends up getting them a spot at the AMAs. And Bree, in the middle of all this, is still trying to be there for her now deceased husband's mistress, Alexis, who's pregnant with his baby. And Bree, who just lost her husband and is now left with 5 kids, is trying to be there for her husband's mistress. Listen to how that sounds. She's trying to be there for her husband's pregnant mistress because he died and left her with 5 children, potentially a 6th that is inside of someone else. And Alexis doesn't know if she wants to keep this kid or not. And she wants advice on what to do. And Bree's like, listen, I can't tell you what to do. Do you? I can't tell you to keep it. I can't tell you to not keep it. Valeria is trying to make sure she looks right for the AMA spot. She's with, as she puts it, 3 gorgeous black women who refuse to age. And she's absolutely correct. In real life, Naturi Naughton has not aged. She's only gotten more gorgeous. Eve still looks 23 years old. She has literally not aged a day. It is insane how Eve doesn't age. And Brandy looks younger now in 2021 than she did in 1994 when Moesha first premiered. How it's possible, I don't know, because she's in her 40s. All the ladies are in their 40s, and they look every bit of no later than 25, 27. It's insane. So Valeria, being 40 and being in Hollywood for 2 decades and being in a group with a bunch of black women who refuse to age, decides to go out and get some, touch up. And they let her know, don't touch her face. And she goes, okay, well, cool. 70% of what you see is God-given. The rest of it is man-made. So she goes out and decides to get butt enhancement and butt injections, and it temporarily paralyzes her because the doctor hits a nerve. While she's going through all of this, there's a stalker that's been lurking around her crib, or what she believes is a stalker. And instead of calling the cops like a normal person, Valeria, because she's an attention seeker. We won't say the other thing because it's YouTube. She decides to play off of it and clout chase because, at the end of the day, Jill's becoming more famous. She no longer has the TV show. She's relying on the group to, enhance her fame and keep her relevant. And she's going to try to seize this opportunity potentially to have a stalker and put it in the press. Um, Eric and JoJo are having lunch, getting to know each other, trying to, tighten up their bond and all of that stuff because he asked Naomi for permission, like, yo, I really want to get to know her as just us without you. We've been co parenting, a grown kid, but they've been co parenting. And Naomi begins to get a little bit jealous because of the simple fact that she's missed out on time with JoJo too because she's been gallivanting, trying to be a star and all of that good stuff. While they're at lunch, there's some alleged fans of Eric's who decide that they want to get a picture with him. They're OG stands, allegedly. And in the process of them taking a picture, they snatch his chain, run off, and he gets winded, can't catch him. And JoJo's not even sure why you want to continue on with this and why you want to try to get the chain. It's not that serious. It's just a dumb chain. He says it's more to him. It's hip hop. And he thinks he knows who's behind it. And he goes and finds who he believes is behind it. And it is none other than Mr. Two-time versus champ himself, Jadakiss. Jadakiss and him have like this 2-decade-long beef, and Jadakiss is like, at the end of the day, I don't need your chain. You think I'm worried about you? I got so much money I could buy and sell you 5 times over. Get out of here before I get the goons on you. And JoJo is just starstruck because at the end of the day, she's like, I know we almost just died, but that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Darren has frozen Jill's accounts. And he's also holding up their divorce because he's still salty about the fact that she doesn't want to be with him. She wants to be with women. And he's even more pissed off about the fact that the woman that he originally thought that she left him for was Tina. And it happens to now not be Tina. Now she's with somebody else. And he doesn't want to let go. So they're on the phone. They're discussing why the accounts are frozen because she's like, I thought we agreed to keep this peaceful. Jill's trying to beg and plead with him. He's like, listen, I want you. I want to hear your voice. I want to be next to you and da-da-da-da. And she's like, okay, but we're over. It's done. I thought you knew that. And he agrees to let it be peace, allegedly, and unfroze the accounts and, goes against what his attorney advised him to do, which was freeze the accounts, block her out, kind of punish her for, leaving. Muffin's entourage is an extremely negative influence on her. And they want her to remain high, want her to remain pushing drugs, being sold drugs and abusing drugs, and basically selling an image that is drug fueled in her music is what I meant to say. And that's just not who she is anymore. She went to rehab, she became sober, and she's trying to let them know, listen, me going to rehab is about becoming someone new. And that's not what they're trying to hear. We want the old you because the old you is who sold records. The old you is who stayed controversial and stayed relevant, got us hits on social media, kept us popping, so we really didn't have to work. You know what I mean? Being an entourage, being a yes man, being the hangers on, which is what a lot of people in hip hop have. And even at the store when she was, trying to be the normal girl, she still wanted the people to recognize her, and nobody really did. And when they did see her on the cover of a magazine, they were like, oh, Muffin is over. Her time is done. I can't believe we thought she was on Doja's level. And her team, her entourage, also compares her to Doja a lot as well. And we hear a lot of Doja's music this episode as well. And Muffin is just kind of conflicted, like, do I go back to the old me? They try to push her into smoking again, drinking, this, and she's just like, the whole point of me going to rehab once again, was to not do this type of stuff. And they like, okay, well, you need to pull stunts like Doja did because this is how she stays on. This is how she stays relevant. And she ends up going to go and get a unicorn horn, diamond studded, bejeweled, and she gets it surgically enhanced and added to her head. And all the girls of Queens are looking at it like, is she serious? Is she for real? And Bree is like, yo, how do you even sleep? How do you take off your shirt without that getting snatched off? And let's just say more than likely that's not what happens. She's not going to be able to do that later on. Alicia at the party sets up a situation for Jill to perform solo and to link with a bunch of power players in the industry, such as Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. And at this pre-party, she also ends up seeing Muffin and tries to apologize for not going to get her out of rehab the way that she was supposed to. Muffin's like, it's cool, it ain't nothing, but you can tell Muffin is bothered by it because she really relies on Jill as a big sister, as a mother figure, as a sponsor, and Jill is dropping the ball because of her newfound fame that Alicia is helping her get. Speaking of Alicia, Alicia arranges this performance that is LGBT inspired for Jill, and it's Jill and the Nasty Butches, and they perform Nasty Girl. The girls are pissed because they're like, I know she not doing our song without us, and we also tried to shed the image of the Nasty B, and now we're queens, and she's doing this song without us, and her and Alicia thought it was okay to keep it from us. They snuck this in on us. Naomi's pissed, Bree's pissed, Valeria's pissed. Valeria's like double pissed because she got dubbed by 5 Foreign, who is interested in Bree and her alter ego Professor Sex, and he's had a crush on her whole career. She's like, do you know how old I am? He like, I ain't think about that. I like you. I want you. I want to take you out the country. I want to jet set. I want to date you, wine you, dine you. She like, boy, I got 5 kids. He like, and bring them. What's up? And she gets pissed off at the fact that Jill has done this. So she decides, you know what? I'm out. I'm going to go enjoy myself. And she goes to meet 5 Foreign at his not at the party. She leaves the party to go meet him in his hotel room. Cut to the hotel scene. 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton is playing. He's sitting there reading the book. And 1,000 Miles is an iconic song, right? It's legendary. But I think we all have this association with it. If you've seen White Chicks, immediately that's what you think of. You think of 1,000 Miles. It's now associated. This beautiful song is now associated with one of the most hilarious movies in the world. It just will always be that way. I hate to say that, Vanessa Carlton, love you wherever you are, but it will always be now associated with White Chicks, and that is sad but yet hilarious. And Professor Sex goes over to, aka Bree goes over to his hotel room and lets it be known, listen, I can't do Paris, I can't do them other things, but I can teach you a lesson. And when she leaves, they don't show nothing crazy or whatever, but they allude to some things going down, and he lets her know that she's nasty. He calls her a nasty girl, like the song, making reference to their big song in the video that he watched once a week, and I believe still does watch once a week. That he told her, and she was always a favorite one out the group. And if you don't know 5 Foreign, go get familiar. Go get into the music. He's been around for a few years. I think he dropped an album and other projects and all that good stuff. Forget what the album is called, and it's crazy. I know there's like 8 songs on it though, but go get that, go listen to him, go download it. One of the brightest new stars, I don't want to say new, but one of the brightest new I want to say crossing over from underground to mainstream stars out of New York. Eric and JoJo get into a conversation about why the chain meant so much, and basically he says, listen, after your mother broke out of the group, found out she was pregnant, and I knew me and her were never going to be together, so he went and got a chain from Jacob the jeweler, dropped 20 stacks on it, and said it was an expensive Band-Aid, and he planned to give it to JoJo at lunch. So that was why it was so important for him to get back. And him and JoJo are like, we're going to get our chain back. And they pull up outside of the snatching chain gang, 3 little white boys who are snatching chains from celebrities. It becomes a trend. It's a hashtag. And yeah, there's that. Jill got confronted by the group because they've been rehearsing heavily for the AMAs, and it's been the 3 of them. It's been Valeria, it's been Bree, and it's been Naomi. They've been rehearsing heavily for this AMAs joint, and Jill has been in, she's been out. Alicia's been doing most of the talking. Alicia's been planning everything, and Jill is just going along with whatever. In, out, in, out. And the girls finally say, listen, you can't perform our music without us. You can't keep us out the loop like this. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be in this, you got to be in this, because we had the AMAs and you ain't even been here. You're not really in this. And Jill pops back with, I've never been the one. I've never been the talented lyricist. I've never been the Puerto Rican girl who was the face of the group. And I've never been, Professor Sex, I never wanted to wear these clothes. I've never been that girl. Now it's finally my time to shine, and y'all are jealous. And Bree let it be known, I don't really care what you think, because that's not the truth. You promised to be there for me because my husband just died, and you're not. So you can go if you want to go. So again, we look at them going down potentially into a performance as a trio. this could be exhausting for me as a manager. I promise you, if I were a manager or anybody in this group or attached to the situation, I would literally probably lose my mind because, like, you never know. And with girl groups who have issues like this, you never know who's going to make it to the stage. You never know if it's going to be 4, 3, 2, because every episode we've seen probably all of them or one of them at one point not want to do it. Like, I think each and every one of them at one point have not wanted to do the show, and it's been 3 of them potentially that's only going to make it to the stage. Craziness. Um, Muffin gets ready for a complex shoot. Again, her entourage is trying to make her do the negative thing, the wrong thing. Okay, you put the coke down, but a little weed won't hurt. And, she's just like, I'm going to go get ready for my shoot. And, try not to let the peer pressure get to her, even though it got to her with this horn. And we're going to see that the horn was a bad decision because just like Bree asked, how do you get your shirt off without that coming off? Well, her getting ready for her complex shoot ends up showing that you cannot take your shirt off without your unicorn horn getting snatched off because it snatched off and there was blood everywhere and it left a huge scar right there. Looking like a full blown nut, man. I was just like, just silliness, but you know what? It's really showing you how the game can really be. Valeria Stalker pops back up at her house again. And it ends up being none other than her mother that she's been speaking about this entire show. And, speaking about her identity issues and her abandonment issues and all that stuff and why she is so selfish but also a hustler. Well, her mother popped up. And, yeah. She was shocked and burst into tears, of course. I kind of figured that was going to happen. Bree was waiting for Alexis at this clinic because Alexis decided that she wasn't going to keep the baby, asked Bree to go with her, and Bree was like, fine, you shouldn't have to be alone, and decided to go with her. She pops up at Alexis's house because she didn't show up to the clinic, and Alexis's roommate goes, she ain't here. She's like, okay, well, where is she? Like, where'd she go? She's not here, like, packed up all her stuff, dipped out, ghosted me, didn't even pay me $100 that she owed me, and, Bree goes back to her home. Jill's there. Jill's getting ready to leave. And, they finally have, their, come to term moment, come to Jesus. And like, yo, at the end of the day, you said you want to be gone. I want you gone, but I really need you here. You don't want to be here, And they kiss and make up. And she's like, yo, Alexis is gone. Jill's like, we'll find her. In the process of all of this, Jill's crazy, soon-to-be ex-husband, or maybe not, shows up with the divorce papers on fire, saying all type of crazy stuff. Nam yo ho denge kyo, whatever. I can't live without you. I don't want to harm you, but I ain't gonna let you go, and some other weird stuff. Sets the joint on fire, the divorce papers, and Bree was like, yo, you gotta get out now. And he got this real crazy look in his eyes, and I'm like, yo, you're the shooter. I told y'all before I felt that way, I still feel that way, and this just reaffirms it for me. He's the shooter. Or is it Valeria's mom? It's always somebody we never expect, but I think it's Darren. And then the girls take the AMA stage, and then we get our previews of next week's episode. Anyways, there was a lot that happened this episode. A lot of things packed into that hour. In closing, I think that Queens deserves an 8 o'clock Monday night time slot. Not sure why they're on it Tuesday at 10. Most people in the Queens age group are either in bed or putting their kids to bed. This is a show for 8 o'clock Monday nights, the same way Empire used to have, and that's all I'm going to say about that. What do you guys think of this episode? What was your favorite part? What do you think is going to happen next? What do you expect from next week's episode and the rest of the season? Who do you think is the shooter? Do y'all think it's Darren? And what did you think of Jill's whole attitude this season? What do you think of Alicia's motives? I think my favorite part of this episode was, again, more of Bree's storyline. And also to seeing another side to Jill, even though she was annoying, it was cool to see where her storyline is developing and where it's going. And it was nice to see Bree not play by the rules, because at the end of the day, her husband, whether he passed or not, didn't play by the rules. And she's still trying to play by the rules and be a good wife. And at the end of the day, she was a great wife, but her husband is gone. She can do what she wants to do because he was doing what he wanted to do while he was alive and dying at that. Yeah, what was you guys' favorite part of this episode? What did you guys think of this episode? And What do you see coming from the series? And what do you think about their time slot? Anyways, don't forget to like, rate, comment, subscribe. It's totally free. Tell a friend, share all of that good stuff. I appreciate everybody in this little tiny YouTube entourage that tunes in, comments, and we correspond and converse. And yeah. I'll be back next week with another one. Later, y'all.